No, no. Hey, the more the merrier, you know what I mean?
Bro, thanks for coming and just hanging and letting me do this.
Dude, are you kidding me? I can't believe I literally hit you up yesterday morning, dude, and we're making this happen. I can't thank you enough. I know you're about to go to DR for a mission trip. Dang.
Not mission trip, preaching.
No way. Mm-hmm. Bro, that's crazy.
So
we can just hop right in, honestly.
Oh, cool. There's like a huge youth conference that I do every year in DR.
No way.
And so been doing it for the past like 4 or 5 years.
Whoa.
It's one of like the biggest churches in DR. It's just like kind of insane what's happening.
That's crazy. Yeah. Casey said it's like missions week or something, so I guess I just assumed.
Yeah. Our team leaves, so we have like 200 students going on mission trips.
Oh my
on
gosh,
Wednesday,
bro.
Which like even, I know we haven't like jumped into the conversation yet, but even like the way that God planned it all out. So like we go through this like super special moment at SEU over the past couple of weeks.
Right.
And one of the things that we were talking about is like the whole purpose of an outpouring is pouring out. Like whenever God does something special, like in a group of people, it's with a purpose, right? And so we like have conference. We have this like crazy spiritual moment at SEU. And then this week we send out 200 people to mission field. We come back from spring break and then we send out like hundreds of students to do something called Love Week, where we like take over the city of Lakeland.
What?
And so like before we even knew this was going to happen, we had already planned out all this like mobilization and like spiritual action. And it's just like, only God.
Bro, that's insane. All right, before we get there, because I really want to talk about that.
100%.
I just want people to get to know you a little bit.
True.
And even myself, because this
100%.
is literally the first time we're hanging, kicking it.
God, let's go.
Definitely won't be the last, sure.
For sure, bro. Especially you being a Florida boy.
I know, dude.
Now we're locked on.
Now we're locked, bro. I've always heard such incredible things about you.
That's kind.
And Dakota, who's like one of my best friends.
Dakota's a good man.
That's
bro.
a good man there.
Like literally, when I think of Dakota, a good man.
100%. I've heard about you all the time from him, so I'm so happy we're finally meeting and hanging.
I've heard great stuff about you.
Oh, thank God.
And like, I feel like so many of my boys are your boys.
100%.
Which means now you're my boy.
Right.
And so it just like, kindred spirits.
For sure. That's math. That's God math there.
That's God math. I like that. That's God math. I love that.
We're such church kids, man.
Literally, bro.
No, but tell me, first of all, how you came to know the Lord.
Yeah. So grew up in church my whole life. Was raised in church and just had a godly mom, dude. Ton of brokenness in my family. Came from really kind of poor family. Nobody was a pastor, nobody was a leader, nothing like that. Just like some good, godly people, specifically my mom. Had just a praying mom, dude. She'd take me to church, and I was just like a church kid, dude. Like I was the teacher's pet in Sunday school. Like I got all the prizes. Like I was always hype about getting a blow pop because I like knew the Bible verse. Like that was just my story, bro. I was in like all the children's like cantatas and like plays in church. We had this thing. I don't know if you ever heard about something called Royal Rangers.
Of course, dude.
It was just like the Christian Boy Scouts. Like I was a Royal Ranger, dude. Like had pocket knives at like 7. I was so hype about it. I knew how to put on a fire. And so I like grew up in church and like had all these awesome moments and went on mission trips when I was like 7 and like all these things, man. But it was my story like really hit a turn. So I'd grown up in church and had this amazing like godly family. But I grew up with a single mom. But a lot of stuff happened when I was like really young that I couldn't even I didn't know we were homeless.
Whoa.
Like I'm just like living with my aunt, and then I'm living with another aunt, and then I'm living with these people, and like I just like had such great people that I didn't even realize we didn't have a place to live.
Whoa.
So I was raised by a single handicapped mom who just like loved Jesus and loved us so much. So I didn't feel it. But then I got a little older, and my dad was kind of in and out of our house, and that's a whole story. And when I was 9, my dad like officially left, and like my mom was like, "Hey, he can't come back." And that's when like life took like a real turn. Whoa. And in the midst of all that stuff, I'm going to say something that is not theologically correct, but it's practically like just my story, my experience. Like the church saved me before Jesus did.
Whoa.
Like just like good, godly people who like would pick me up and take me to church. And like after youth group, like when I have no money, would be like, hey, you can come with us. We're going to, do you remember when people used to go to TGI Fridays and Chili's?
Chili's
Bro,
yeah.
Hey, we're going to Chili's. Like, we'll pay for you. We'll take you home. Like, I just like people in church who just like loved us, believed in us, were there for us. And then when I was 15, I went to a youth camp. And God just radically changed my life, and I was just never the same again. And so I had a lot of church background, a lot of church experience. I was involved in church. I was doing stuff. I was even sometimes like leading. But when I was 15, I just remember just having a radical encounter with God that changed my life, and I just fully surrendered my life to Jesus, and been serving Him ever since.
Bro, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, dude.
Such a beautiful thing, and I feel like it's been probably since December, I think 3 or 4 conversations with amazing people who I've had who it's been like a praying mother and like the body of Christ.
Literally, bro.
Who have like literally kind of like what you said, like saved them.
Not a pastor, not a preacher, not an evangelist, like just regular everyday people who just like loved me. Bro, like I mean, people who just had regular jobs, were plumbers and accountants and like just like whatever, but we're just like great godly people who just like loved us, dude. My mom has been a babysitter for like 30 years. That's how she raised us. Because she couldn't work a regular job, so she would just take care of kids in our house.
Whoa.
And like, but was like an evangelist in our home. Like is families who are coming and like trying to find someone to take care of their kid. And she's like, yeah, but do you know Jesus? Yeah, but do you want to come to church with me on Sunday? Like living in that my entire life changed my life.
Bro, that's so good. So grew up in church. How did you kind of get into ministry? Like what did that call of God look like?
Oh, dude, I think sometimes like calling and stuff like that could like be so, we can like convolute it and complicate it so much. Here's what I know. Aside from like moments in God's presence, people speaking over certain things over me, like all that, I think that sometimes there's just a sense where like you see someone doing something, you're like, I want to do that. You see a preacher, you're like, I wouldn't have said it that way. I would have said it this way.
Yep.
Like, it's so crazy how sometimes even your criticism is God fostering calling in you. Like, I think the people who end up being the best teachers sometimes had bad teachers. Yeah. Sometimes the people who become the best pastors sometimes had bad pastors. People like there's moments where like you see somebody doing something right and you're like, I want to do that. Or you see someone doing something wrong and it actually creates like a burden in you where it's like, oh, actually, I want to do that, but I want to do it differently. Yeah. And I almost feel like a burden to do that. So like I just remember growing up in church and seeing preachers and seeing pastors, a lot of really great ones, and just thinking to myself, oh, I want to do that one day. And that's where it kind of started. And I just found myself like listening to a lot of preachings and just like not just listening for the sake of receiving messages, but even just like being curious. I feel like the best leaders are just like super curious. Yeah. They're just asking questions. They're like just paying attention to stuff. Like people who want to grow are like, I just want to be a fly in the wall. Like you're just like, you'll see someone who's doing something and you're just following them on Instagram. You're like, I don't know anything about them. I just love the way that they're doing this. And I'm just curious about it. Yeah. Like I remember, even when I became a youth pastor, like I would literally like, I don't know if you ever did this. Like you would hit people up and be like, hey, I know you don't know me, but I would love to get coffee. Of course. And just like pick your brain and just like ask you questions. Like I was that guy. I was just unashamed. Yeah. And like sometimes you get shut down and that's okay. 100%. But other times people are like, oh yeah, let's get coffee. Or like, hey, I want to visit your church. I just want to see what's going on and like ask you some questions. Yep. I was just always that person. And so I think a mix of like seeing stuff and be like, I want to do that, mixed with just like holy curiosity of just like always like, oh, I see people doing this and I feel like I want to do that. That mix of stuff of like burden and curiosity, God used to like just develop calling in me. And then I just had people who just kept taking shots on me. Wow. Just giving me opportunities when like I didn't deserve it and wasn't worthy of it. And they just saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Over and over and over and over again. And somehow now I'm in this office and I'm in this role and I'm on this podcast with you. It was like God giving burdens, me feeling curious and just like going after stuff. And then just a ton of people who just believed in me and just gave me a shot.
Bro, that's so beautiful, dude. I love that.
Oh, man.
I think one of the things I try and constantly remind myself is like, don't lose that like curiosity.
100%.
Like we're never going to know everything.
No.
Like But as soon as you feel like you got it figured out, I feel like that's when you kind of like lose the edge. You know what I mean?
It's funny how so much of like ministry and life is not like, oh, like I knew I was going to do this. Like we almost like fight so badly for like clarity. Like I think about my life and everything that I've experienced, done, like every job I've had, like I stumbled into all of it. Like I didn't walk through the door and be like, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Like I stumbled into stuff like, oh, now I'm doing this. And now I'm doing, and I stumbled into like this friendship that changed my life. I stumbled into this gift that I didn't even know I had. I stumbled into this fill in the blank. Like so much of like following Jesus isn't actually like walking into stuff. It's almost like stumbling into stuff 100%. That you had no idea was going to happen, but God just like brings you into.
Dude, 100%. And even when I think back on my own story, it's like, dude, I never wanted to do ministry. I grew up in the church, same kind of story, but I was like, I grew up like in a Southern Baptist church and pretty limited understanding of like what you could actually do occupationally, I think, in ministry. But I would just served on Sundays and then I was going to go to school for marketing, and I did, and went to University of South Florida.
Let's go.
And that's, bro, I was just going to do like marketing. And I felt I had a really great community in high school. They all graduated, went off to college. I stuck around here and just felt like I didn't have that community anymore. And God was pretty much just like, all right, you feel like you don't have community, start one. And I was like, all right. So I called up one of my friends. We started a Bible study. 7 people showed up. And then 3 months later, there was like 40 college kids coming. We couldn't fit everybody in the house. That's when I actually started coming up to Monday night chapels.
No way.
Yeah, at SEU. Because basically my pastor at the time was like, you're doing this Bible study. Like, what would it look like if this thing turned into like actual college ministry? And I was like, I don't know, dude. I'm just like
I'm just figuring it out, dude.
You know what I mean? And so we did. We turned it into a legit college ministry. We'd rent out a venue downtown St. Pete.
Way, bro.
Yeah, and put on like once a month
how
gatherings.
Did I never hear about this?
And that's when Trevor was here too, doing his thing.
No way.
At Bridgepoint. Yeah.
What was it called? Like the ministry?
Mine?
Yeah.
Reality St. Pete.
Let's go.
Yeah.
What a good name. Why'd you call it that?
Bro, so that's a funny story. So during the time where we were kind of like, my pastor was like, what would it look like if we turned this thing into a college ministry? I was like, I don't know. And then within 2 months, we had like put together a launch team, the funding, and we were at this like staff lunch one day. And it was at like a Chinese place, and I got a fortune cookie. And at the time, I was like,
okay, God, speaking through fortune cookies.
Well, I'm not. This is just how it happened. I'm not saying anything.
Hey,
but
God will use anything, bro.
It's true. So basically, at the time, I was still in college. Seeking a marketing degree. I was working for a digital marketing agency as well. So all of this stuff, like him coming to me and saying, what would it look like? I was like, I don't know. I was very like hesitant.
I've got a lot going on right now.
Yeah, I have a lot going on. I never planned on doing ministry. This Bible study's cool because it's like, once a week, whatever, chilling. And so I was with the church staff at this lunch. I opened the fortune cookie, and I still have this somewhere. I need to find it. But basically, it was like commitment is what will turn a promise into reality.
Let's go.
And I was like, at the time, I was like, yo, this is crazy because I don't want to commit to this. But I feel like I would be up at night with like dreams of like what this was going to look like. And so I knew that the Lord wanted me to do it. I was just like scared, really, I guess, or didn't want to commit to something like this, whatever. And so it said commitment is what turns a promise into reality. And so when I saw the word reality, I was like, all right, reality St. Pete.
Dude, what a great story, bro. Shout out to fortune cookies.
Shout out to fortune cookies, man.
Listen,
you never
I'm so
know.
convinced God will use anything to speak to you, bro.
100%.
Anything. Okay, real quick side note.
Please.
Me and my wife are like Disney people.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Nice. Disney adults.
No, hold on. No. Let's make the differentiation, dog. There's like creepy, like weird, cringe Disney adults who like, you ever see the TikToks where like people like collapse in front of the castle and like cry?
Of course.
That's not what we are, bro. No. That's not us, dude. And like wear Disney merch every single day. Like don't do anything else.
Mickey ears.
Yeah. No. Well, hey, Mickey ears. Don't come for Mickey ears, dog. Right. But then there's like another tier of Disney adult where it's like, oh, like I want to hang out, go get on rides, eat food, and just like vibe.
100%.
What's wrong with that?
Not a thing.
Not a single thing, bro. Like you're mad because I'm going to Disney. You're going bowling, bro.
Right.
Like
boring.
You're gonna like I'm going on Space Mountain, bro.
Right,
and then I'm gonna get a churro, watch fireworks, and go home.
It sounds like the perfect night.
Sounds like a vibe.
Yeah.
And me and my wife, we have like passes, so we'll go for like an hour or two, just like hang out, and then we'll leave.
Yep.
Okay, real quick, have you gone on Guardians of the Galaxy yet?
How new is it?
It's probably like 2-3 years old.
No, I haven't been on it yet.
The greatest ride that God ever created.
Oh, dude.
And like Guardians is all like 80s vibes.
Right.
So what they do is they have like 6 80s songs. So it's Conga, Disco Inferno, Iran, September. Everyone wants to rule the world, and every time you get on the ride, a different song plays. No, bro, it's the greatest thing ever, bro. Like whenever you're ready to go Disney, let me know. But,
for sure.
But yeah, what I was trying to say was, in Magic Kingdom they have like this fireworks show.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, Mufasa shows up. Oh, and I remember I was like in a moment, like a tough moment in ministry, and I was just like questioning everything, and if I was making the right decisions, and like all this stuff was going on. And I remember Mufasa comes out at like the end of the fireworks show, and he says, "You are not what you have become. Remember who you are."
No way.
And I'm in the middle of Magic Kingdom with a bunch of people at Disney watching this fireworks show in tears because God's speaking to me through Mufasa on the freaking castle, bro. God will use anything. He'll use a fortune cookie. He'll use a donkey. He'll use a movie. He'll use a fireworks show. He'll use anything to get your attention, bro.
Wow.
So crazy.
That's crazy.
It's actually wild.
Shout out Mufasa, man.
Shout out to Mufasa, bro.
Dang, that's wild. It's true, though. It really is, man.
No, God will use anything.
Wow. That's nuts. So you said you were in youth ministry.
Yeah.
Do you have any like crazy like youth ministry stories?
How much time you got, bro?
Just give me one banger you can think of.
No, I've got a story, man. It's the best story ever. It's literally the best and kind of wildest story that I've got. So I had a student, and he was just incredible. We loved him. But especially in that time of his life, like he just had a ton of problems. He was on medication for a few things. So he was on like depression and anxiety medication. He had epileptic seizures. Whoa. He had all this stuff, and he was taking medication for it. He was probably like 12 years old. I mean, tiny kid. Way. And we just loved him so much. His name was Robert, but we called him Tiger. That was the name he asked us to call him.
No way.
Tiger.
I love that.
And so we're at camp one time, and there's like an altar call going. It's powerful. My youth pastor is the one preaching. And altar call's going, and I see Tiger at the altar with like his buddies. They're all praying for him. I'm like crying. I'm seeing this whole scene happen. I'm like going around praying for students. I make my way to the back of the chapel, and the sermon kind of finishes. Altar call's done, and I see my youth pastor kind of like looking around, and I'm like, I feel like he's looking for me. And he finally makes eye contact with me. I'm like, hey, look at him, and he's like, get Tiger. And I'm like, so I stand up, and I see Tiger like pass out on the altar. And I'm like, what in the world happened? So I go up, I grab Tiger, I bring him to the side, and I'm like, Tiger, he's passed out. I do things that you're not supposed to do when someone passes out. I'm like shaking him. I'm like, Tiger, he's not waking up. I like violently, I'm Tiger. I like wake him up. He's like, what's going on? Where am I? Who are you? Nah, bro, I'm like, Tiger, it's me, it's PJ. Let's go outside. Let's get you some air. I take him outside. And I get some of his buddies, and I'm like, guys, what happened to Tiger? I talked to some of his buddies, and they're like, oh, PJ, Tiger had a demon. He was like shaking uncontrollably, and we're like praying harder, and like we're screaming, and like all of a sudden it just stopped. Demon left. Powerful.
What?
I talked to some of his other buddies. Guys, what happened? They're like, oh, PJ, Holy Spirit was moving. Tiger started shaking uncontrollably. I think he was getting filled with the Spirit. We were screaming, we were shouting, and then he just stopped. And we're like, yeah, God did it. And then I talked to Tiger. I'm like, hey, Tiger, what happened? He's like, I think I was having a seizure.
No.
So half of his buddies thought he had a demon. Half of his buddies thought he was getting baptized in the Holy Spirit. Tiger was having a seizure on the altar.
Oh.
And that's so dark, but at the same time, kind of funny.
No, dude, that is incredible.
One of the wildest stories I've ever had in ministry.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Shout out to Tiger wherever he's at.
Shout out to Tiger, man.
Wherever he's at.
Oh my, that's crazy.
It's actually wild.
I can't believe
one of many.
Yeah, oh dude, I can't even imagine, bro.
Dude,
Youth ministry's crazy.
Dude, like youth pastors.
But it's the best.
If a bunch of youth pastors go out to lunch, or people who used to be youth pastors go out to lunch, they'll be like, all right, tell me the story.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what was the crazy thing that happened?
Bro, have you seen, there's like a TikTok account that's called like Youth Pastor
Chronicles?
Chronicle, or Youth Group Chronicles.
Bro.
Dude, insane.
I'll literally just sit in bed giggling, bro. Just dying laughing watching those
Because you get
stories,
it.
bro.
You get it.
Because I get it, bro.
100%.
So many. And just like, yeah, bro, you put a bunch of teenagers and a guy in his mid-20s
Yeah.
in a room.
Something wild's going to happen.
Something wild's going to happen, bro. It's so funny because now that I'm older, there's two words that I didn't think about when I was a youth pastor, which is safety and liability.
Yep.
Like, is anyone going to die?
Right.
And am I going to get sued for this?
Yep.
You just don't think that. Like, I think about all the people who, like, put a bunch of, like, McDonald's into a blender and just make students drink it.
Oh, brother.
What
are we doing? For some reason, like, we just always come up with just the craziest things.
The wildest things. But students are about it.
Oh, yeah.
They hype us up. They're like, yeah, we want more of it.
100%.
And then a parent walks in and it's like, I'm taking my kid out.
Oh, yeah. No parents allowed. I remember one time I was at like a youth camp or something. And for some reason, like, we had a table on stage, like a 6 foot like folding table,
yeah.
And a ladder. And for some reason, dude, like one of the youth leaders like got on the ladder, jumped off the ladder, and like, John Cena'd that thing. And like had to go to the hospital.
Stop, bro.
Obviously. You know what I mean?
Bro, I just remember I was a middle school pastor, bro. And like I had brought a bunch of guys for like, I don't know if it was the finals or like Super Bowl or like something. Okay, this was the best, bro. I remember I would like every year I'd open up my house for the Super Bowl.
Ooh, fire.
And we'd like just put the game on in every room that we had. Yeah. And then like, I'm not even kidding, like 100 people would show up to this like tiny house, bro. And literally the only rules were you either have to bring like something to eat or like a soda or something. And bro, like all these kids I just don't know are just showing up to my house, bro. It was wild. But then after the game was done, I can't make this up. I don't know if this is bad or good, but like I would lock the door and I'd be like, all right, everybody. And this was like my slogan. I'm like, if you're in the room, pick up a broom. Like, you made this mess, you're going to clean it up. And I had 12-year-olds, like, vacuuming our floor, bro. Cleaning the bathroom, wiping stuff down, taking out the trash. It was amazing.
Bro, that's just good leadership.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like it's good leadership. Maybe there's someone who's like, that's kind of weird that you locked the door and kept 100 people in your house. No. I thought I was just leading our youth group.
Yeah, 100%.
And bro, but they did it. Everyone was like about it.
Of course they did.
It was so... I sometimes miss being a youth pastor. I do. But it's like, you're like, for example, like I work with college students now and like I'm speaking at more churches and like doing Sunday nights or Sunday mornings or Wednesday nights or whatever the case is. Like I will always create some space to just be with youth groups and like do youth camps because it's just fun, bro. Yeah. It's just fun. Once a youth pastor, always a youth pastor.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, you did VU High camp, right?
I did, bro.
Yeah,
twice.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun, bro.
So
the last time I did it, I had the flu. It was like my flu game sermon. Flu game sermon, dude. Dang. I legit thought I was going to pass out in the middle of it.
I can't believe you.
Gave it my absolute best. It was so good.
Whoa.
Dakota's amazing. The first time we did it, bro, they had this like tiny chapel.
Yeah.
We were totally breaking fire code, bro. The chapel could probably fit like 70 people. There was like 120 people. Oh, and then I didn't know that. So I brought like 10 people from my crew. And I mean, people were sitting on the floor like, oh, bro, it was horrible and amazing at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I love Dakota. I love that whole crew. Like, Vu is just, I literally have a Vu
I was about to
zip
say,
up right now.
You got the Vu quarter zip on right now.
Dakota's the best, bro. I just love him so much. No, what a great guy.
I know, dude. It's crazy. So how, I know this is probably a long story, but how did you get to SEU? Because you were telling me that only happened like almost 3 years ago, I guess now.
3 years ago, bro. So I was serving in like this role as a district youth director. So I was overseeing like 200 churches in Florida and just supporting like churches and pastors and leaders. That was my job. So I'd put on like camps, conventions, retreats for young adults, leadership stuff. Like, it was awesome. I loved my job. And then I was traveling and speaking like quite a bit. And so I wasn't looking for a job. Like, I was good. I was content. I was having a great time. I'm like an Orlando guy. So I was in Orlando, in my city. I'm with my family, with my fiance, like all the things. And in the middle of it, I go to like this prayer retreat. I have a group of guys every year. We do like a 1 week. We just go out to the mountains and just pray and like spend time together and like spend time with Jesus. It's awesome. So I'm on my way to this prayer retreat. And on my way to the prayer retreat, I just have this moment where I feel like this nudge from God. And I just sense these words, like, something's about to happen and you need to be open to it. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, I'm not in transition. I'm not like praying about my future. Like, I'm good, dude. I love my job. I'm having so much fun. I'm going to Disney once a week. Like, I'm chilling. I'm going to Magic games. I'm just loving my life. And I feel that. So I like write it down in my notes app. And then when on my way to the retreat, 2 things happen. Like, right after that, I get a phone call from the campus pastor at SEU, my boy James. And he's like, hey, bro, I can't give a lot of details, but like, you might get a call from SEU. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just be ready. You might get a call. Then Dr. Engel, the president of the university, sends me a DM on Twitter, bro.
On Twitter?
On Twitter. So I'm like, oh, this is a scam, bro. Someone's going to be like, hey, this is Dr. Engel. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, just like, could you forward me some money for this thing? Or like,
of course.
I don't know, whatever. And DMs me on Twitter. He's like, hey, I want to get lunch. And I'm like, is this the real thing? And sure enough, it was him. And so like, I'm like, hey, like, get me in contact with your assistant. Would love to have lunch, whatever. And I go to the prayer retreat. And everyone on the crew is just like, oh, dude, I think something's about to happen. And so we're like praying it through, whatever. I get back from this prayer retreat. One of the vice presidents calls me. He's like, hey, man, we're looking for a campus pastor. Your name keeps coming up. Would you be open to it? And when I heard those words, like tears literally just start streaming down my face. And I'm like, oh, this might be a God thing. I immediately like, call my pastor. I call my boss. I'm like, and both of them are like, this feels like a God thing. And so then I go to like an interview. Interview's supposed to last 30 minutes. We end up being on the phone for 3 hours. And by the end of it, I'm like, hey, I'll see you in August. And they're like, well, let's go through the interview process. Like, don't get ahead of yourself, buddy. And I'm like, no. I actually think this is like, I'm supposed to do this. Like, I feel called to this. I know. You let me know when I was bold, dude. Like, I was just like, dang. I know. You let me know when you know.
Whoa.
And sure enough, the next day, they're like, hey, we called all the candidates and we let them know we found our guy. I had lunch with the president and that went awesome. Had another lunch or dinner with like my fiance and some of the team. And within like 3 or 4 weeks, I was at the university.
Holy.
I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was the guy. I just had this sense of like, oh, I think God's leading me to this and I'm just going to be obedient. And that's what I did. And we've been here for 3 years, dude. And it's been just the ride of a lifetime.
Bro.
Just having a ton of fun. There were so many like incredible leaders before I got here that there was a sense of like imposter syndrome of like, oh, I don't know if I can match up to that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can live up to that. I don't know if I'm really what they're looking for. Like, it almost like, I was like, hey, maybe you've heard great stuff about me, but like, I don't know if I'm that good.
Yeah.
Like, you ever have someone like recommend a restaurant? They're like, bro, best food I've ever had. And then you go and it's like kind of mid.
Yeah.
Or like someone recommends like a movie. It's like, bro, this movie's fire. You've got to watch it.
Yep.
And you watch it and you're like 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, I almost felt like that was what was happening.
Dang.
Where people are like, oh, Jonathan Rivera, great leader, great preacher, great guy.
Right.
And then they were going to get me in and it's like, oh, he's all right.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to feel like I was doing the school a disservice because I had so much reverence for this place and for this position. it's been such a blessing to my life before I ever showed up here.
Yep.
Like for years, I was a youth pastor just driving out to Lakeland, kind of like you,
Yep.
just to hang, just to like experience what was happening here. I was going to all the conferences. Like I would hang out with the campus pastors and like just learn from them so I could take what was happening here and take it back to Orlando. Like I was just so inspired by this place and I had like a reverence for it. And so when they offered me the job, like I was like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, we want you to do it. And I was like, it feels like they want me to do it. It feels like God wants me to do it. It feels like my fiance wants me to do it. I'm going to go for it. And, dude, it's just been, like, the best.
Bro, that's insane, dude.
Crazy, bro.
I think that's crazy, too. Like, you were, like, coming up and receiving.
Yeah.
And already, like, you know, part of the culture before you even knew you would ever be here, you know?
Well, I was in the shower the other day, and I literally started crying because I just, like, was looking at what's been happening in my life and, like, at SEU. And I'm like, oh, God was preparing for me for this the whole time. And I just couldn't see it.
Yep.
Like even people that like I had a relationship with 10 years ago that set all of this up. And I just didn't know it. All the moments that I had, all the things like I could have never imagined in a million years that it was all leading up to this. Crazy. And sometimes you're just like in your life and you're like, God, it feels like you're not doing anything, or it feels like you're not leading me, or it feels like I don't have direction, or it feels like whatever. And it's like so often God, like there was a quote I shared at our prayer chapel this morning. It's like God's doing 1,000 things in your life at one time, and you're probably aware of like 3 of them.
Yep.
And it's like all the pieces that God's putting into place, and you could just never see it or imagine it until like you get to it, and then you look back and you're like, oh, God was setting it up the whole time.
Yep.
And I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Just so crazy.
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight's 2020, dude.
Well, let's fast forward to what's been going on here at SEU. And I feel like I really wanted to have this combo because kind of everywhere I go and all the circles, like whatever, all the church circles, it's like, you know, we're all looking at it from afar.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what's going on? This person's calling it this. This person's naming it that.
Yep.
This person's labeling it this.
Yep.
Oh, it's like the next Asbury, or you know what I mean? Like already kind of like calling it whatever they feel like it is from way far away.
100%,
you know what I mean?
dude.
And bro, I've just been praying for you guys because Dakota actually called me. I think after that, he called me at like in the afternoon, one of the days of conference.
Yep, that Wednesday.
And he was like, bro, I think something's like happening.
Yeah, dude.
And he had stepped away to go get some food or something.
Yep.
And he was like, I don't think they're going to stop.
No.
And I was like, oh, they're just going to keep going that day. You know what I mean? And then fast forward
10 days.
10 days. And I'm watching on Ahmed's story, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And so, bro, I just wanted to hear from you, like kind of firsthand what happened essentially.
Yeah.
If you can even describe it, I don't know.
This is low key like the first time I sit down and like really unpack it.
Wow.
Which is wild. And I'm trying not to get emotional thinking about it. 10 greatest days of my entire life. 10 hardest days of my entire life. So let me backtrack.
Yeah, please.
When I got to SEU, there was so much good stuff here, and which is why I would come. Mm-hmm. And so when I came, some of the language, like, because when a new leader comes in, everyone's like, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna change everything? Is he gonna fire everybody? And like legit, I came in and I was like, hey, actually, guys, like, I want you to breathe. Like, there's actually really good stuff here, and I'm not trying to come in and change everything. Like, tell me what we've got going on here, and let's build together. And it's using that language of Jim Collins, like, hey, how do we take what's happening and make it from good to great? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, there's really good stuff here. How do we make it great? How do we just take it to the next level and build on all that God's done? And so that was kind of like the spirit that I tried to come in with. And so I'm like, tell me what we do here. And like, well, we got this Monday night chapel that's just like popping. I'm like, oh, let's run the play. Let's keep it going. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what else do we got? They're like, we have this Thursday morning community chapel. We have like different speakers come in every week. I'm like, oh, that feels good. It's like a spiritual buffet. Every week there's something new. You never know what to expect. Let's run that. That's great. I'm like, anything else? They're like, we started this like prayer chapel thing after Asbury. Students were just hungry for prayer. And it didn't last long. We started it and then kind of the semester ended. And they're like, I was like, well, tell me about it. They're like, well, there wasn't like a ton of people coming to it, but it was good. And I was like, then let's just throw gas on it. So the first thing that I did when I got to SEU, I was like, hey, let's make prayer like a big deal.
Yeah.
That was like my one contribution. Hey, let's like keep what we got going and let's make prayer a big deal. So we started this thing called Tuesday Morning Prayer Chapel. And it became like the center of our campus.
Whoa.
It literally became I call it the engine room of everything else. And so Tuesday morning, you walk in. It's not a service. It's not a chapel.
Yeah.
It's like the most loose, unprogrammed thing that we do. And prayer just became a big deal at SEU. And so over the past 2 years, it feels like the spiritual atmosphere at SEU has been shifting. And it feels like that what's been happening has been intensified. And so months ago, you come into a chapel and it's like, oh, there's like oil on this. Like, this is different, dude. I would have like guest speaker friends who are coming in and like we'd go to dinner after or lunch or whatever. And they're like, oh, dude, there's something like happening here. And I'm like, man, God's doing something. And they're like, what's the secret? I'm like, I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. We've been praying.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Like, we've been praying. At the beginning of this year, I just like had like, again, just like that Holy Spirit nudge, like, oh, something special is going to happen this year. That's all I knew. Didn't know what it meant. Didn't know what it looked like. Had no expectations in my mind of what that meant. I was just like, oh, this year just feels different. Something's on this year. I don't know what it is. It just feels different. Chapels, again, just booming, man. There's chapels where it's like, we can't stop. Just the worship continues. Altars are packed. Like, God's moving, doing stuff. And we're just like leaning into it. And then a couple months ago, it was like we started feeling this crazy anticipation for like SU conference and specifically just like for our campus, like, oh, God's about to break something out on our campus. No idea what that means.
Whoa.
No concept of what that means, just a sense. That's all we had. For the past couple of years, I've been like really interested in like, I just see all these like pockets of like cool stuff that God's doing.
Yeah.
And I've just been curious. So like I heard the stories of what happened at Asbury. So I went to Asbury, sat in the chapel, went to the second floor. I'm sitting like looking at the stage and I'm just like, Lord, just give us like a quarter of this. Like, just give me whatever happened here, do it in SEU. And then I heard the stories of like all these all night prayer meetings in London.
Whoa.
All these like Europe, a couple years ago, people were like, Europe is spiritually dead.
Yep.
And then now like the complete opposite. There's like crazy stuff happening. Churches are packed. Young people are flocking into alpha groups and like all this stuff is happening. I'm like, I've got to see this with my own eyes. So me and my wife, we take 2 trips to London and we just get in the room and I'm like, I just want to see it. And I'm in London. I'm like, God, just give us a little bit of this.
Wow.
And then this year, it just, the sense of like, man, God, I don't know what's happening. I want to be open to it. I want to be ready for it. We start getting all these like random words from people. Like, hey, I don't know you or I don't know what's going on, but like, I just need you to like, we're praying for SEU and we just feel like something's on the way. I remember I went to Passion and there was a moment where I like went down to like sit with like programming and I had like all these pastors and leaders that like people would know. And some of them were just walking up to me like, hey, you're the SEU guy, right? Yeah, that's me. And they're like, dude, God's doing something. I don't know what. Just like, God's doing something at SEU. Then there's like this video that comes out. Upper Room is like doing a prayer set. And Michael Miller, the pastor, is like leading it. And out of nowhere, he's like, I think we need to pray for SEU.
No way.
Something's happening at SEU. Can you guys help me? We need to pray for this right now. And he just starts going in, praying for SEU. And then he's like, I feel like they've been like pushing this boulder, like just like pushing and believing for something. And like he says these words, and these words stayed in my heart. He's like, there's been a trickle, but there's about to be a flood.
Whoa.
And I remember watching that video and just like weeping because I'm like, I'm not crazy. God has been like, something's about to happen. Again, don't know what that means. Have no concept in my mind of what that means. I'm not even thinking like, oh, Asbury's happening.
Right.
I'm just like, oh, something's on the way.
Yep.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means all night prayer meetings. I don't know if that means a breaking out and healing. I don't know if that means like, I just have no idea. And so Upper Room speaks this word over us. I go to Minnesota to preach, and like the pastor's about to introduce me, but then like gives a word to me and Caroline for us specifically. And then he's like, oh, but let me tell you about what's about to happen at SEU. Starts going off.
What?
And just like over and over and over again. So we're coming into the new year with this like crazy faith and expectation.
Yeah.
And I tell our team, I'm like, hey, I don't know what's happening. We have like a staff retreat. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Something's on the way, and we just need to get ready for it. I don't know what that means. I just want to be ready. And so we do like 21 days of prayer and fasting. And then I'm like, hey, I know this is a lot. We got a lot going on. We're leading up to conference. We're doing all these things. I think we need to do like 7 a.m. prayer in Bush Chapel. And even if we're the only ones there. But we're just going to open up Bush Chapel at 7 a.m. And I told him, I'm like, there's nothing spiritual about 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I think there is something spiritual about sacrifice and just like hunger. So let's lean into that. And so we started doing 7 a.m. prayer. And here's the craziest part is we would go into 7 a.m. prayer, and sometimes I'd walk out and I'd be like, it feels like nothing's happening. Or there was people who were like, why are we doing this? Like, why does it have to be 7 a.m.? Or even students who it's like, man, PJ, it's really early, dude. like I'm barely getting any sleep as a college student. We're doing 7 a.m. prayer.
Right.
But we just kept leaning into it. And I like, even personally, I was just like getting ready. Like stuff that was like normal for me, I just wasn't doing. Like, I don't know, like listening to Coldplay in the 1975.
Right.
Like, I'm not like a super legalistic guy,
Yeah.
but I just, for a season, I was like, oh, I just like want to put some stuff to the side. I just want to feel like consecrated for this moment. I like wasn't watching movies, wasn't watching shows,
Wow.
not listening to music. I was just like, I don't know, bro. I just felt like I need to prepare my heart for whatever's on the way.
Yeah.
And so we're like in prayer. We're all consecrating ourselves. We're fasting. We're just like leaning in and saying like, God, we don't know what's about to happen, but we're just wanting to be open to it. We get to conference. Oh, here's the craziest part. Philip Anthony Mitchell was not supposed to speak at conference.
No way.
No, dude, we reached out to his team months ago. He was my first speaker I wanted.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to swing for the fences.
Well, yeah, why not?
Why not? Go for it. And, dude, I'm like, I was getting desperate. I'm like, I talked to his best friend.
No way.
Bro, I'm like hitting up all his people. I'm like, hey, can you just put in a good word?
Right.
That's all I'm asking.
Right.
Just put in a good word like, hey, these people are great. You would love to be with them. Like, they're awesome. And just schedule-wise didn't work out. Everyone's like, hey, we're so sorry. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I took the L. I'm like, all right, he's not coming. Like, whatever. Right. And so we book all these other speakers. Incredible lineup. Like, Avengers level threat.
Bro, when I saw that lineup, I was like,
dude,
what the?
And so we have like all these incredible speakers. Like, we're so hype about conference. 2 weeks before conference, his assistant starts DMing me on Instagram.
What's up with these people DMing you?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I guess she didn't have my email, so she's like, hey, I'm just going to communicate another way. So it's DMing me. I didn't see it. It's in the request. She comments on one of my posts. Pastor Jonathan, this is Philip Anthony Mitchell's personal assistant. Can you please reach out to me? I reach out to her. I'm like, is this a scam? Is this real? And it's legit. It's her. We start talking. We start texting. We got email threads going. And she's like, Pastor Philip would love to come to conference. Is there still space? Dude,
Bruh,
PCOs are done.
Yeah.
Everything's locked in. I'm like, we'll figure it out. We'll find space.
Right.
So normally I would speak on Monday night, and I like just give it my space. And I'm like, hey, I would love to have Pastor Philip. I talked to our team. I'm like, hey, I really feel like this needs to happen. So Pastor Philip speaks Monday night, and then everyone else speaks. And God just starts orchestrating all this stuff, dude. We get to conference. It's powerful. The best conference we've ever had. It is like, if conference was just conference, it would have been life-changing.
Right.
We didn't need anything else. Like, also, like, I was ready to go on vacation after conference.
Dang.
We were ready to like get rest, relax. I had like churches I was preaching at. Like, it was a whole thing. I had no intention of sticking around an extra 10 days after like the busiest 3 days of my year. And so we go into conference. It's powerful, bro. Philip is amazing. Our prayer session, Pastor Tim Timberlake, the guy who was actually preaching when Asbury happened was leading our prayer service.
Whoa.
Zach Mearcreeps, good friend now. And Pastor Christine Kane, Abby Gamboa, like what a duo. Like what?
Insane.
Tuesday night's powerful. And like we get to Wednesday and I remember waking up Wednesday and it's like, it's almost done. As awesome as conference was, I was ready for it to be done. Not because I didn't love conference, because I was just ready to rest. I was ready for our team to rest. I was ready for our community to rest. Like God had already done so much. I'm like, if we didn't have another session, it's already been incredible. Like I'm ready to go home. I'm good. I'm filled up.
Yeah.
We get to Wednesday and there's a preacher. Her name's Jenny Allen.
Yep.
Most people know her because of the Unite Us movement.
Yep.
Where like they've been going to college campuses, doing baptisms, thousands of people getting saved. It's been incredible. I've never met Jenny in my life. The first time I met her was that morning, like shaking her hand.
No
Thanks for
way.
being here. Like super grateful for you. Love what's happening. Like thanks for coming to conference.
Whoa.
I don't know Jenny. I don't know anything about Jenny, what she's preaching about. We're just trusting her ministry and going based on her reputation. My friends who know her, who like trust her with their life. And I'm like, oh, then she's incredible. Like, let's bring her.
Yeah.
Jenny goes up. And I mean, every session has just been, it feels like the lid is just being raised every session. Jenny comes up and she's like, hey, this isn't normal for me, but I just feel like I can't preach my sermon. I can't preach what I had. I just feel like the Holy Spirit told me to scrap it and like pour out what's on my heart. And it didn't feel loose. It felt reverent. It felt like I need to be obedient to what God's telling me to do. This is Wednesday morning, day 3 of conference. And she just starts going at it, dude. She is pouring out her heart to our community. And it's just such a like holy moment. And she's like preaching. And at the end of it, she says, all right, this is how we're going to close. I want to do a moment of confession and repentance. And this isn't like abnormal for Jenny. Like I've seen her at a Unite Us event where like she'll tell people like, hey, find a friend, find a buddy, and like I want you to confess your sin. Like tell them what's really going on. Let's get raw. Let's get honest like with God, because that's where the transformation happens. And I'm like, oh, I've seen this. Like I'm good. This is awesome. I've seen this happen before on college campuses. This is gonna be so good for our students.
Yep.
She doesn't do that. She like takes a pivot and she's like, normally I would tell people to like get with a buddy and like confess their sin. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to confess our sin publicly. And you're going to do it as loud as you possibly can.
No way.
Dude, and I'm like, and I told Jenny this, I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, oh, this is going to be weird because no one's going to do it.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, I don't know if that's like the best response. And there was like a kind of awkward moment. And then Jenny says, she's like, you know what? The more people do it, the less awkward it is. So like just rip, like just go for it. And bro, people start doing it. Anger, bitterness, pornography, lust.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, people just start saying all their stuff. And it starts off with like 5 or 10 people and then becomes like 50 people. And then it becomes like 100 people. No, dude. And it's going. And there's like a shock in the room. Everyone's like, is this really happening right now? And it goes from like shock to like, bro, we are weeping. Everyone in the room, I'm like fetal position, bawling, crying. 1, because I can't believe that like our community is going through this.
Right.
And then 2, the wildest thing is this. As it's happening, what you feel in the room isn't shame, it's freedom.
Whoa.
Bro, people are shouting out stuff. This was the one that broke the room. Someone shouts out, abortion. And that level of honesty unlocked something. And then the entire room is just shouting stuff out. I can't explain what happened in that moment. It is one of the most deeply powerful, transformative moments I've ever had in the presence of God in my entire life. And in that moment, here's all I know. For the past 3 days, I had my hands on the steering wheel of SEU conference. I was the pastor. I was the leader. I was making the final call. And somehow in that moment, I no longer had control of what was happening. the control was gone. It felt like the roof had caved in, and the presence of God fell in that room in a way like I've never experienced in my entire life.
Jeez.
It was insane, and it didn't stop. People just kept confessing and kept repenting and kept praying. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. I just, in that moment, immediately, I said these words, I don't know what's happening. I just know that something is happening. Mm-hmm. That's all I knew. In that moment, that's all I was 100% clear on. And so the room's just like, again, we're not in control anymore. Yeah. Something's happening in the room. I don't know what's happening. I can't tell you what's happening in the room. Something's happening in the room. The moment keeps going. We're praying. We're worshiping. We're repenting. People are praying over each other. People are on their faces. People are crying. It's insane. And so we're just kind of letting it go. And I'm like, okay, well, like, this should be done. Like, this is powerful, but like, we kind of have to move on.
Right.
Like, we got to go to the next thing.
Yeah.
We've got a lunch at 1 p.m. And it kind of just keeps going. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if we're going to make it to lunch. So I tell our team, let's push the lunch like 30 minutes.
Right.
Just to create like a small gap. Like, yeah. let's just see, right?
Right.
And then it gets to the point where it's like, oh, we actually have to cancel the lunch. Like, this isn't stopping. Then our provost, who oversees like academics, the afternoon, we're just not stopping. It just keeps going. And it's like, oh, I think we need to cancel classes.
Oh, so school was supposed to happen.
Yeah. People were like supposed to leave conference, go to class.
Oh, whoa.
So we canceled lunch, and then we canceled classes. We have a breakout at 4 p.m. And I'm like, oh, we should make it to breakouts. Like, right. As powerful and awesome as this is, we still don't know what's happening.
Right.
As awesome as this is, like, we should be able to make it to breakouts. And like, Abby Gamboa has a breakout. Everyone's looking forward to that breakout.
Right.
And then it comes to the point, it's like, oh, we don't know if we're going to make it to breakouts. It's 4 p.m. and this is still going. And no one's like making it happen. Right. The students won't leave the room. And it's just, and it feels like, oh, God's doing something. I don't know what he's doing. He's just doing something.
Yep.
So it just keeps going. And so then we cancel the breakouts. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's take a break at 5 and just tell everyone like, hey, go home, take a shower, change your clothes, get some food, and then like come back for the night session. Like, God's still doing stuff. We still got one session left. I'm just convinced that like this is just a moment that's going to end.
Right.
I have no expectations of what this looks like. And then we're like, cancel the break. It's not done. So from 10 in the morning to 10:30 at night, it just never stopped. And there's a moment where Jenny comes up to me. She's like, look, you are the pastor. You are the spiritual authority here. I'm just telling you what I'm sensing. And I'm like, okay, what do you think is happening? She's like, I think you're about to have another Asbury. This is exactly how it started. Just like this. Just like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I start getting text messages. The pastor from Asbury tells me, tell me what's happening. Tell me what's going on. And so I get on the phone with him. And he literally just says these words. He's like, I think it's happening again.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, here's the thing. People can assume based on the way that I talk and the way that I lead that I'm like a naturally like hopeful and optimistic person. Yeah. But my like bent is actually like cynicism and skepticism.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like that's where like my mind goes.
Wow.
And I've learned by following Jesus to like turn it the other way. So the whole time I'm the one who's saying like, I don't know if that's what's happening. I'm the one's like, Lord, is that happening? Is this what's going on? We're like trying to figure out. It's in the middle of the night session. I'm like, what are we going to do? Something's happening. And we can't keep the building. We're not a church. We're school. We're like renting the building. Right. So we just can't keep it like riding. Right. And so I'm like, what am I going to do? And people are asking me like, why don't you ask the church to like keep the building? I'm like, dude, we've like rented equipment. We have like people we've hired. The police are here. Like we have to leave. Yeah. But the one thing that I knew is like, this can't stop. Mm-hmm. I felt it would have been disobedient to stop it. Yeah. And so people are like, just stay in the building. I'm like, I can't leave in the building. But maybe we just go back to campus. Let's just open up Bush Chapel and just like see what happens. Again, no expectation. I'm just like, hey, it feels like people still want to worship and pray and like God's still doing stuff. So like, let's just create the space and see what happens. So at 10:30 at night, I say, hey, we're going to close here and we're going to open up Bush Chapel at midnight. And if you want to keep praying and worshiping, like we're just going to lean into what God's doing. It just feels like God's doing something. I open up Bush Chapel. I get here. It's like 11:45. And I look out the door. There's 600 people waiting outside at midnight.
Brother, what?
We open up the doors and it just keeps going.
Oh my gosh.
And again, I could not tell you what was happening. All I knew was something was happening. We went from midnight till I think like either 6 in the morning or 9 in the morning. And then we said, hey, we'll come back at like, I don't even remember what time. We'll come back in a couple hours. And then we just kept it going. And then it became, there was like a rhythm. It was going from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. For just days. I grew up in the Assemblies of God, very Pentecostal, charismatic kind of background.
Right.
I've heard about healing my whole life. I've never seen so much healing in my entire life. There's probably like 100 physical healings that happened in 10 days.
Oh my God.
And the way that they happened right in front of me, I'll never forget that. Never in my life I'll forget that. My favorite story to tell, there was a guy, we actually like, one thing that we did was, because like the priority was like our students. So one, like the priority of this is our students. God's doing something in our students. But people just like Asbury wanted to come see it. And so what we did was we said, hey, we're going to let students in first into Bush Chapel. And then we actually set up a screen outside for anyone from the community who wanted to come.
Wow.
And we'd let them just be outside. There was a guy outside, and there's a moment where I was praying. We wanted to pray for healing. And I said, hey, students, actually go outside. There's people who need healing outside. Go pray for them. There's a man who, like, something was wrong with his hands, and he couldn't fully open up his hands.
Yeah.
And so they pray for him, and they send me a picture of him with his hands raised, fully extended.
What?
So God heals him, but then he says this, I need to go home and finish the miracle. We're like, what does that mean? He goes home and finds his wedding ring that he hasn't been able to wear for years, puts it on, and just like praises God with his wife.
No way. Bro, what?
Story after story after story after story. There was a guy who came, he was outside with the community, and he was like, hey, I don't really believe in all of this, but I came. And he's outside, and there was a weird moment where I was like, hey, I know it's like mostly college students here. I just feel like we need to pray for marriages. Like if you're married, just like raise your hand. And so a couple people in the room were married. We started praying for them. I'm like, hey, go outside and pray for them too. Some people might be married outside. There was a guy who said, I don't believe in prophecy, don't believe in healing, don't believe in a lot of this stuff. But I literally prayed to God and I said, God, could you send someone to come and talk to me about my marriage?
Whoa.
And then I like give this word of like, hey, God wants to do something in marriages. God cares about your marriage. We're going to pray for marriages. He comes inside, tells me the story. Then he's like, hey man, like I struggle with some of this stuff and like I don't believe in prophecy and healing or whatever. I'm like, okay, can I just pray for you? And if I sense anything for you, I'll share it with you.
Right.
And so like I pray for him, I share 2 things, and then he kind of leaves. And then I'm on the altar like giving a testimony of someone who got healed. And then he just kind of like walks up. And I'm like, security? He walks up because I just didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, God healed my shoulder. And I literally just give him the mic. And he starts telling the story of how God healed his shoulder.
The same guy who didn't
Same guy.
believe in it.
Same guy.
Oh my gosh.
Story after story after story after story. So here's the thing. Again, and I keep saying this. I didn't know what was happening.
Right.
Every single day I walked in, I was like, God, are we done? Every single day. I had no like pressure to keep it going.
Right.
I wasn't like, there was no one in leadership was saying like, hey, we need to keep this going. Nobody was like, hey, you can't stop this. Like every day I was like, are we done? Is this the end? And it just wasn't. And so I like had some great people on the outside who had like been through stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like my heroes were becoming my friends. people who I had seen do this stuff across the world and experience stuff like this, they're like, hey, what do you need? Hey, we're praying for you. Hey, here's some wisdom around how we navigated some of this stuff. And so like, I'm talking to like people outside. I'm like trying to discern with some of our team. Our president, dude, is like the best leader ever. Alpha dog. Just like if he walks into the room, everyone's like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And he's sitting in rooms with me. He's like, what are you sensing? What are you feeling? What do you think's happening? No, we're behind you. You're the pastor. We trust you.
Whoa.
And so I had this like pressure, dude. This immense pressure of like, God, I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in the way. I don't want to feel pressure to like continue something that's not you. I don't want to manufacture. I don't want to manipulate. Like, I don't want to do any of that. And so every day I walked in and I was just like, Lord, are we done? And every day I would walk in and there was just like this sweet presence in the room. There was just like this hunger for God. People just didn't want to leave. And there was just like a sense, a nudge of like, keep going, keep going, keep going. And all we did was just like keep opening up Bush Chapel and create the space.
Right.
That's all we did. And there wasn't like preaching every night. It was literally just like worship, prayer, confession, reading scripture. Like that's it. That's all we did for 10 days. And there came a moment where people were like, is this a revival? And I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know what this is. You can only evaluate if something is a revival in hindsight when you see the fruit of it. And so I was like, I don't think it's a revival. And if it is, not yet. I do think it is. And Asbury used the same language. It's like, it feels like there's a special outpouring of God's Spirit. It feels like God's doing something special and unique in this room with this community, with these people, and we're just trying to create space for it.
Yeah.
And that's what we felt was happening. And so that's what we called it. It's like, what is this? It's an outpouring. It's an outpouring of God's Spirit. That's it. That's all we know.
Yeah.
We don't want to label it. We don't want to give it a title. We didn't want to box it into anything. We just said, hey, God's doing something. We don't know what God is doing. We just know that God's doing something. And so everything started on Wednesday. Saturday or Sunday, I sit down with the team and I'm like, hey, I feel like we're in the middle of it. That's all I know. I just feel like we're in the middle of it. I've just got this sense. Okay, this is a weird illustration. Did you watch Dune?
Of course.
Banger movie, right?
Oh, phenomenal.
Like, it was so, like, Lisan Al-Gaib, like, he just, like, stuff that he knew and he didn't know how he knew it.
Right.
That's how it felt. Which, obviously, we're Christians. We believe in the Holy Spirit.
Of
so,
course,
like, we
yeah.
believe in, like, God's leading. But, like, I didn't know how I knew. I just knew. I was like, hey, I think we're in the middle of it. And then on Tuesday, I'm sitting down with our team and I was like, I think we're done. I think Friday's the end. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I think it's the end. And like, there was all these people who like were ready to bring down like buses or ready to fly down or ready to like be a part of it. And I'm like, it was never about people on the outside.
Yeah.
It was always about people on the inside. So I didn't feel this pressure to keep it going because it was never about what God wanted to do outside. It was about what God was doing inside. And we just felt like it was the time. But what happened in those 10 days changed my life.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person I was 10 days ago. My wife, that's how you know it. Like, that's how I know it was God. My wife is not the same person she was 10 days ago. Like, for the past 3 days, my wife has been doing nothing but reading the Gospel of John and watching The Chosen. And, like, ChatGPTing Bible questions.
Oh, my God.
My wife was absolutely wrecked by this. Like, people across this campus that historically, like, would never work together were like, hey, how can we help? What do you need? What can we do? One really cool testimony was the live stream. I didn't even know we were doing the live stream. I know it was a thing until like it started.
Right.
The funniest thing, and like, if you look at the camera we're using, it's not like a nice camera.
Right.
It's like a super old camera, and it doesn't even have like a good angle. But for 10 days, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people were watching that live stream. I heard stories of churches who would play the live stream and just open up the church for like prayer and worship.
Oh my God.
My friend Keithan preached last night, and he's part of a church called Church of the City in New York. And there was like a mom's group chat with like 150 moms. one of the ladies put it on the group chat, and there was all these moms just playing the live stream in their houses.
What in the world?
There were people in Sweden, London, Belgium, Argentina, every place you could think of, who were like, hey, I'm watching the live stream. We had people online, like in the comments, God healed me as I was watching the live stream.
Oh my God.
I gave my life to Jesus and I'm going to church on Sunday because of this live stream. God will use a donkey.
Yep.
The rocks will praise him.
Yep.
And he'll use like a janky camera with a bad angle to inspire the world. And I think the greatest testimony of what happened here wasn't the healings, and it wasn't like the presence, and wasn't like we lived in this crazy spiritual moment for 10 days, as awesome as all of that was. The greatest testimony of what happened the past 10 days is that it is a reminder that God is not limited to a location.
Yep.
He's not limited to Asbury. He's not limited to London. He's not limited to Azusa. Like, actually, he could do it anywhere.
Yep.
He could do it anywhere. And that's like the message that I believe, like, I'm carrying in my heart, that I just want to tell the world, like, oh, God could do it anywhere. Mm-hmm. God's not looking for like the most special people, the most talented people. God's not looking for big buildings or great worship teams. Here's the crazy part. Most of the worship that was done during the outpouring was like just students.
Wow.
It was just students. All of it was students. It was like our team was on tour. Our team was actually going out, doing out dates, like being with churches and at conferences. And they're like, hey, we can't be there, but like we have students who are willing to do it. And those students carried the outpouring. It was insane.
Unbelievable.
It was insane. God will use anything, and God will do it anywhere.
Yep.
He's not limited to a preacher, a pastor, a worship team, a church, a location, a chapel, a janky camera. He'll literally just use anything.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude.
Brother, thank you for sharing that, man. I'm sure you could talk forever about so many different things that happened in 10 days.
Dude, I'll be a 70-year-old man. Still telling stories.
100%, man. And I mean, I'm just grateful to have somebody like you steward that kind of moment. And
it's kind.
Man, that's special. I guess my question would be now that, it's over,
yeah,
quote unquote.
Yeah.
At least in that form.
Yeah.
What would be your prayer for the people who were in the room those 10 days?
Yeah. One thing because we were trying to figure out, like, what's next? Mm-hmm. Where do we go from here? And the thing that I kept on, like, feeling was, like, the purpose of an outpour is pouring out. Mm. Like, anytime, I was talking about this yesterday to, like, some of our team, anytime that you see God doing something unique and special with people, there's a purpose behind it. Mm-hmm. Every time. And so I think our community needs to look different after this. Mm-hmm. Like, we can't just be like lovers of God's presence. We need to be carriers of God's presence. And so this can't just change the way you worship. It has to change the way that you live when you go to biology class. It needs to change the way you love people when you go to Starbucks. Yep. It's got to change the way that you like talk to your sweet mate. It's got to change the way that you pray. Like, and so that's our hope. That's like, we keep talking about how like the disciples had like the upper room. Yeah. And they had like this upper room moment, which was so powerful and so necessary. And I really do believe that God, like, outpourings and like these moments, this is the beginning. Yeah. Like I'm praying that this is just a trickle effect. They just start, that people just like, oh, he did it at SEU. He could do it in California. Mm-hmm. He could do it in Washington. He could do it in Oklahoma. He could do it in Nebraska. He could do it anywhere. Mm-hmm. God's not limited to a location. But that we wouldn't just have like upper room moments, that we'd have upper room movements. Mm. Like we can't stay here. There was someone who gave me this great word. They were like, hey, I've got this weird encouragement for you. I'm like, go for it. Like, I've experienced some pretty weird stuff the past 10 days. Like, I'm down for weird. Right. And he's like, dude, I was praying for you, and I had like this like vision in my head. I was like, all right, go for it. Like, what was it? And they're like, you know how like in New York City, like skyscrapers have like these really fast elevators? And I'm like, yeah, like these speed elevators. They just go up like 70 flights of stairs, like so quick. I'm like, yeah. They're like, I feel like SEU just went up like 70 stories, and it happened so fast, but you can't stay in the elevator.
Whoa.
Like, God accelerated you. God took you somewhere you haven't been before, but it's because he's trying to take you somewhere. It's because there's something beyond this. Don't stay on the elevator. Like, it wasn't just about the acceleration. It wasn't just about the moment. It just wasn't just about the presence or the healing or all that stuff. Like, when God does stuff, it's for a purpose. The purpose of outpouring is pouring out. And so we've just been like pushing our community to like a mission. We've been pushing our community to action. We've been pushing our community to like surrender and obedience. Like, because if not, then we just had extended worship for 10 days.
Yeah.
But if it was an outpouring of God's Spirit that God intentionally allowed and graced us with, he did it for a purpose. It's because he's trying to get us somewhere. Like, Moses didn't just like stay up in the mountain and have his burning bush moment.
Right.
No, God was like, go deliver the people.
Yep.
And so the disciples didn't stay in the upper room. It says right after the upper room, Peter gets up, preaches the first sermon of the church, and 3,000 people get saved. And then the church starts, and they're feeding the homeless and taking care of the widows, and the gospel is spreading, and like stuff's happening. Like, I think this is the beginning of something, not just the end of something.
It's beautiful, brother. Getting chills just hearing about it, man.
Dude, I could talk about it all day.
Forever. I know. And hopefully, this is the first of many times that you'll be talking about it. And man, I'm continuing, because this place is special to me too. Yeah. Like, I've received so much from here. Man. When I was younger and coming out to chapels and stuff, and just the people you have here, dude.
It's just special.
So special. Some people who are extremely close to my heart. Yeah. And it's crazy, because I started seeing from afar, like, oh, here comes Danny from Georgia. You know what I mean? Here comes like Casey, Chelsea, like, dude. Bro, special
just
people.
Just a rock star crew, bro.
Seriously. And so, man, I'm going to continue to pray for you guys and the students here. And
please do.
Thank you again so much for taking some time and sharing. And I can't believe this is the first time you're kind of like sharing about it.
It's the first time, dude.
Crazy.
Thanks for letting me do it, man. I hope it's an encouragement for people. Like, God could do it anywhere.
Yep. Bingo. Well, I love you, bro. And I also can't believe this is the first time we're hanging, but it's not going to be the last.
First time, not the last time, bro. We're going to go to Disney, or we're going to get on Guardians of the Galaxy, dude. It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be amazing. Well, I love you, brother.
Love you, man.
Thank you so much, bro. That was epic, dude.
Was that good?
Bro, it was amazing. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's the first time I talk about it. And
no,
so
bro.
I don't know. I don't want to ramble. I also don't want to like miss stuff. And so I just hope that it like encapsulates like the heart of it. You know what I mean?
No, I think that it 100% did, bro.